Cardfight Vanguard, mainly known for the trading card game, is a Japanese multimedia franchise created by Bushiroad. Alongside this game, it also has an anime series with the same name, Cardfight Vanguard, which was released in 2011 to advertise the card game locally and internationally. The Cardfight Vanguard anime as of now has 13 seasons worth of episodes. These include the original series, Asia Circuit, Link Joker, Legion Mate, all 5 seasons of G, 3 seasons of the reboot, and the currently airing Overdress. It also has 2 spin-off series, Vanguard If and Colorful Pastoral. Coupled with a few movies, both animated and live action, we come to a total of 516 episodes, which is a lot of content. Needless to say, if you're not invested in the story, then chances are you either dropped it or skipped a few seasons, which I can totally relate to. But as someone who grew up watching the anime, I got hooked instantly and watched all the main seasons, sometimes even rewatching old episodes in my free time. This is because, in my opinion, Cardfight Vanguard is a realistic show. Well, some of it is, at least. If you take out the over-the-top imagining, the mind controlling, and the destroying the world stuff, the outcome is just a show that shows elements of card games and card game communities that we can see in real life. So, let's dive in and find out just how realistic is the Cardfight Vanguard anime. Let's start out with similarities outside of the game. If you're trying to get into a card game, you'll most likely find yourself going to local card shops or card game communities. Aichi and Chrono both start off like this, but I think the best example is Yu Yu from the latest series Overdress, where we see people giving him cards and teaching him how to play the game. If you're shy and mostly play with your friends, Aichi's Vanguard Club in the Link Joker series is a good example to this, as it portrays students playing card games after school. In the anime, most of the characters' improvement comes from playing friends or just random people to gain experience, which is what most casual players do if they want to get better. On the professional side though, they really dropped the ball with this one. Most of their so-called training is just going to the beach to practice drawing cards or surviving in the mountains, whereas in real life, professional players do lots of research on meta decks and tournament tops, but most of their time is used on playtesting over and over and over, just like that episode of Shion vs Kai, where she loses to him continuously and ends up beating him on the tournament because of all that built-up experience. To get cards, you either open packs or buy singles. Too bad we can't see the latter in the anime, but they do show some scenes where the characters get cards from packs which are used in a later fight. Another thing that is similar is deck building. In real life, half the match is decided on how you build your deck, and I'm glad the anime touched on this. The anime literally tells us that building a deck full of great trees is bad, with the example being Morikawa. Although that's not true anymore with the introduction of ride decks, but you get the point. Another scene to note is Yu Yu asking Toya for advice with his card choices, and Toya writing his deck list in class, which I'm sure some people can relate to. But most importantly, the anime shows us that changing a few cards around could make a bad matchup turn into a good matchup. A good example is in Asia Circuit, where Kamui was fighting Tetsu. Since Tetsu was using Dark Irregulars, which powers up the later you are in the game, Kamui lost with his Peace DTs as most of his pressure was locked behind Limit Break and was too slow. So, he decided to switch to Risers for the early crit pressure and ends up winning in the rematch. Tournament arcs are a must in the most card game anime, and Cardfight Vanguard has a fair share of them. I mean, they have seasons based off of tournaments alone, like Asia Circuit and G Next. However, their tournaments tend to be exaggerated a bit. We don't usually have Battle Royale style tournaments like how they did in the Under 20, nor do we have stadiums full of people watching two players put cards down on tables that come out of the ground. Although I would love to see these in the future if technology makes it possible. Shop tournaments, on the other hand, are portrayed very well in the anime, especially in G. Good examples of these are the mini tournament in Girls Crisis and the team tournament in G Next, where they needed to win to qualify for the Under 20. That's mostly it for similarities outside of the card game. Of course, there are little details which stand out, such as how they sleeve their cards in the new series Overdress, or how everyone uses different clans, which isn't all that true in professional games, but is mostly true in casual play, where everyone just plays the clans they like and main. Getting into in-game similarities, we start off with card names. While it isn't needed to say the names of the cards you ride or call, sometimes players just do it either for fun or if they're playing remote fight and their camera resolution is bad. We certainly don't shout the card names like in the anime, and we definitely don't talk a lot. Most of our interactions are asking for numbers when guarding, with a few more if you play a deck that interacts with your opponent a lot. In a game of Vanguard, you know how your deck works and how you're going to win, and the characters in the anime know that too. One of the best fights in the series that shows this kind of playing comes in episodes 61 and 62 of the original season. Misaki piloting Oracle Think Tank and Asaka piloting Pale Moon. Rather than playing cards and turning them sideways, Misaki plans ahead and knows how and when to counter Pale Moon's rush. Over the course of the game, Misaki stacks cards on the bottom of her deck with Tsukuyomi's skills and ends up memorizing all of the remaining cards in the deck. While this does not seem realistic, it is definitely possible in a sense. We can see this kind of play in Vanguard Zero, the mobile game of Cardfight Vanguard, where top players are using this game plan to consistently win games competitively. Another thing that the anime shows is how the characters make certain decisions to gain advantage or counter different decks. In episode 9 of the reboot, Kotei purposely puts the extra critical from the trigger to his rear guard, because he wants to keep Kai on 4 damage, and since Dayusha always swings with 2 crit. He basically negates all the advantage Kai can get with an extra counterblast. Another example is from G-Next episode 21, where Kazuma notices lots of stands in Luna's drive checks and how she always attacks with a rear guard first. He deduces that it's safe to take the Vanguard attack since chances of her getting a critical are low. While there is a running gag that games in the anime end with double critical or 6 damage shield, games in real life are like this too. When two good players who play perfectly go against each other, the outcome of the match is usually decided by 1 or 2 lucky triggers. The anime also has a fair share of unique wins. The first thing that comes to mind is the ending of Stridegate, where Chrono's win con is his G-Guard that shuffles the opponent's deck. A personal favorite is Kamui's fight against Gridora, where he gets a draw trigger, which doesn't seem like much, but it gets him to the 4-card hand he needs to use favorite champ again. These unique wins happen in real life too, just like in BCS 2019 World Finals, where Simon uses his GB8 to win the game. Most of the time, Vanguard games are your standard 1st to 6 damage, which is what most games in the anime tend to fall into. However, the anime also has modified games, like 2v2s in Asia Circuit, or 2v1s like when Aichi and Kai was going against Noah. They also show us other fun and different ways to play the game, such as Relay Fight and Pack Fight, both from Girls' Crisis. It's basically a toned down version of Extreme Fight with a little bit of luck factored into it, and I would love to see competitive scenes incorporating these formats in the future. And that's the end of the video. If you enjoyed this and want to watch the anime, almost all of the seasons are available to watch in the Cardfight Vanguard YouTube channel. And if you want to get into the trading card game, now is a great time to pick up some $4 starter decks to start playing with your friends. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.